My name is Murad Moqbel, and I'm the Director of the Master of Science in Business Analytics, and I look forward to going over the program with you today.
Okay, so here the first few slides are going to be a little bit more generic, recognizing that we do have folks coming from outside the Rio Grande Valley and beyond the traditional areas for our on-campus recruiting. The UTRGV is actually a relatively new institution in the University of Texas school system. We were chartered in 2015, but we are a combined university of two former University of Texas institutions, UT Brownsville and UT Pan Am. So although we are relatively new in terms of our namesake, we as an institution have actually been providing academic resources to South Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and then here in the last few years with the advent of our accelerated online programs such as this one, regionally, nationally, and internationally as well. We do have campuses spread all across the Rio Grande Valley, as you can see here. And then here we've actually grown a pretty significant amount within the last year or two. Significant amount since we were officially chartered to begin with, but here in the last year or two. And a lot of that actually has to do with the development of new programs such as this one. As a graduate college, as a university, we have a few characteristics, qualities that we really try to focus on and adhere to. The first being, of course, quality academic programming. It does not matter what you are coming in for, but if the program is not going to fit your needs, if it's not a well established, well designed, well planned program, you're not going to learn what you need, then it really doesn't matter. So of course our first step is always going to be able to provide quality academic programming. And then we want to be able to do that in a flexible format. As an accelerated online program, this is probably one of our more flexible options. We'll talk about what accelerated online looks like and how that is exactly broken down here in just a little bit. But it is an incredibly flexible format that works with absolutely any schedule that you could possibly imagine. And then, of course, these first two things don't matter at all if the program itself is not affordable. We will also have a chance to talk through financial aid, scholarships, assistantships, and then cost a little bit later. But I do want to point out that as an institution, affordability is something that we definitely try to focus on. For this program specifically, if you compare to even a regional counterpart, UTSA in San Antonio, this program holding the same levels of accreditation, which we'll talk about in a minute, still comes in at about a third of the cost. So cost is, of course, something that we do focus on as an institution and as a graduate college, and that can be seen in the rankings that do exist all over the internet for UTRGV as a university. I won't spend too much time on these just because they're all over the place in terms of our website or the internet, but I do want to point out that all of these rankings, program specific or university specific or graduate specific, point to those three characteristics that I just mentioned. So speaking on the flexibility of our programs, specifically this Master of Science in Business Analytics as an accelerated online program, how accelerated online works is it takes a traditional 3-semester academic system, fall, spring, and summer, and then breaks it in half to 6 modules or mini-mesters. We refer to them as modules. So in the fall, there was fall module 1 and 2, and then the same subsequent 1 and 2 for each spring and summer. Full-time enrollment is considered 6 credit hours per module, or 3 credit hours if you are considering part-time. You can do both. Even though this is an accelerated online format and you can complete this master's degree in as little as 12 months, you don't have to do so. These programs, again, are meant to be flexible. They're meant to work with any schedule. An example of this, I have a friend of mine who is in the accountancy program. He, during the summer, is very busy with work. His wife is an educator. She is home from school or from her job. Both of his kids are out of school. So he actually took classes off over the summer so that he could spend time with them and then focus on work. This is not something that is uncommon. This is something that you can certainly do. Again, we want to make sure that it is flexible and works with your schedule. It is something that you can do as a full-time individual, and that's largely in part because of the asynchronous program option or course options. These classes are asynchronous, and what that means is that they are entirely complete at your own pace. There's not mandatory check-in times where you have to be available for a certain time period or in a certain location or whatever it may be. Everything is done when you have the ability to do so. Now, there's going to be deadlines throughout the week. Most of the professors, or I guess all of the professors, refer to them as deliverables. You're going to have times when there are deliverable due dates, but when you work on that does not matter. So if you work night shift, if you have free time in the morning, or if it's late in the evening when everybody goes to bed, whatever works for you is when you can complete the coursework. This program is fully online. So when we say fully online, we mean that. There is never a point where you will have to come to campus or need to come to campus unless you want to come to graduation. And at that point, you are invited to do so. I don't know why this first line is in here. It's supposed to say diverse course offerings or diverse course design. And Dr. Moqbel will talk a little bit more about this later on, but these courses do offer the ability to basically do anything you can do in a face-to-face format in an online format. I am actually currently enrolled in the MSBA program as a graduate student. I am doing so working full-time, and even though I have found myself working in this master's program, I've actually found that I have just as much in terms of opportunities to learn in different formats than I did when I took my first master's in a face-to-face format. We utilize Blackboard, which is a online learning software that has several components to it where they can still be interactive. So you still have opportunities for discussions, you have opportunities for live or immediate feedback. You get to learn in the voice of the professor. You're not just being handed a book and told to memorize things. So they are still offered in a format that is very helpful to you and works with many different learning styles. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they can be completed, or this program can be completed in as little as 12 months. So just some general information about the College of Business, and then I will hand things over to Dr. Moqbel. Our College of Business is AACSB accredited. That is an international accreditation that is held by right about 5% of the 10,000 some business schools internationally. We are actually, as an institution, one of the 2% that holds that all the way through to the PhD level. And that accreditation is essentially the top tier for business schools. So that is something that it does carry a significant amount of weight with it, and it is something that we are very proud of as an institution. Our faculty, of course, are absolutely engaged. I mean, that can be demonstrated just by the fact that the program coordinator and one of our faculty members has joined us today. They want to see students be successful. There's a buy-in into the students' success. They want to see faculty succeed and perform well, and that translates into some pretty fantastic rankings. Our MBA Finance, again, just general to the School of Business, MBA in Finance has been pretty well acclaimed during the last couple of years. And then this year, the MSBA Business Analytics program was listed in the top 42 best Masters in Business Analytics programs. Dr. Moqbel, what was the organization that mentioned that? Do you remember?
I don't remember on the top of my head, but it's on the link.
Oh, it's a link. discoverdatascience.org. So again, something that putting us up against many of the top tier and most prolific and well-known business schools, business analytics programs in the country. So a fantastic opportunity for us. All right. So here I'm going to hand things over to Dr. Moqbel. Dr. Moqbel, would you like mouse control?
Okay. Yeah, that would be fun.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
All right, it is yours.
All right, thank you, James. So I want to start by why business analytics. And before we start with why business analytics, what is business analytics to begin with? So business analytics is a term that is used exchangeably with other terms that you might have heard people talking about: data analytics, or big data analytics, or data science, or business intelligence. All of those terms are actually used exchangeably to mean the same thing, which means that to transform raw facts, which is data, into useful information that is useful for decision making. right? And business analytics, rather than data science, the difference between them is that business analytics, we focus on three major pillars. It is actually the information technology pillar and the quantitative methods pillar, which includes machine learning and quantitative methods and so on. And then the third pillar is the business side. So in other words, you utilize information technology and quantitative methods, including machine learning algorithms, in order to solve business problems. So in our case, business analytics program in our case is more about applied um, statistics and how we can apply machine learning and quantitative methods and information technology to solve business problems rather than focusing on the algorithms, because data science might focus more on the algorithms themselves or focus on the technical aspects of it, but for us more about solving the problems. So you might have noticed that in this graph, you will see that the available data that has been growing exponentially has far outpaced our understanding and our ability to understand this data, right? As a result, many organizations and many companies have started kind of to introduce new roles in their organizations. That includes for example, those ones in the middle, data analyst or data scientist positions, or artificial intelligence specialist or machine learning specialist. Just kind of to name a few of those roles that have been popping up in the past few years as a result of understanding data. So several organizations and actually several universities, including our university, understood the need of businesses for data analysts. As a result, we created the Master of Science in Business Analytics to meet the demand that is actually now the University of Texas at Austin says that more than 500,000 jobs require data analysis or data analysts and data scientists just this year, right? And actually, numbers maybe go even more than that. So there is a very high demand for skilled employees with data analytics and so on. So what is this program about? So when you graduate from this program, you will be able to solve problems that are not confined to a specific industry. So the skills that you will learn in this program are going to be transferable to whatever industry you are in. So it's not limited to only one industry. Second objective, when you graduate from this program, actually you will be learning through the program and be able to master cutting edge information systems and analytical tools such as R, which is an open source programming language that is very essential for data analytics and for business analytics, and then as well as Python. You will also learn about Tableau. We have a whole course just for data visualization and using Tableau. And the skills that you will learn in that class using Tableau are transferable to any other visualization platform such as Power BI or Click. And then the third objective, you will be able actually to solve problems using data mining and text data mining, machine learning. So when we talk about data mining versus text mining, in the past, we used to use only data and numeric values to analyze and to mine data, right? Now we are able to use text, which is unstructured data, in order to create predictive and classification models using, and the reason for that is the advent of machine learning. So we all hear about machine learning. What it really means is from what it says. The machine or the computer learns from historical data, so it can predict in the future. So let's look at an example of text mining and the use of machine learning. So imagine that you are working for an organization, and that organization has a call or a support center, and that support center has customer service and has technical service or technical support, right? The technical support, they are deal more with the IT aspects of the problems, and the customer support deal more with the customer relationships problems and issues, right? So imagine that every day you receive hundreds of tickets that are text-based. And so you need to hire people to read through those tickets and then decide whether they should go to the technical support or to the customer support. So that used to be in the past, but now with the use of you can train the computer to through historical data to learn from this text and classify and predict or classify those texts or tickets, whether they should go to the technical support or to the customer support. So this will not only reduce the need for employees, now you will automate that process. It will not only help the organization save on the salary of those who have been replaced by automation and who can be utilized for a more advanced jobs rather than this can be automated job, but also will hasten and make it more efficient to address those problems that were through the tickets, right? So it will make the process much faster. Instead of processing 100 tickets per day, now you can process those 100 tickets maybe in 1 minute and deciding whether they should go to the technical or customer support. So this is just an example of utilization of text mining and with the use of machine learning. And another thing about machine learning, you have data mining through machine learning can be, there is what we call it supervised learning, and there is unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning, one example of it is the association rules. And you might have heard about this story about a supermarket here in the Midwest of the United States conducted data mining analysis using association rules. And they noticed that the sale of beer is highly associated with the sale of baby diapers. And they analyzed that more and they figured out that actually those fathers who have babies, they go to buy diapers from that supermarket. And since now they have babies they need to take care of and they can't take to the bar with them, they end up buying beer from that supermarket and drink at home while they are watching for that child, right? So as a result, that supermarket utilized this finding and they put the beer and the diaper next to each other. So, just imagine that you are going to Walmart. It might not be that actually that this is Walmart, but if you go to Walmart right now, you will notice that the beer aisle is in the back end of the store, and next to it is actually the diaper aisle as well. So that what is the benefit from this is that now when you make the placement of the products next to each other, they found that the sales of both products has increased tremendously. So this is just kind of some of the examples of how organizations and businesses can benefit from analytics. And then you will learn about social media analytics, where you will be able to retrieve near real-time data from social media websites such as Twitter, where you will be able to conduct sentiment analysis or topic modeling, just kind of to name a few. You will also learn about enterprise analytics. So you will also be able to learn about the data preparation, the data collection, data selection, and storage, as well as data visualization, because one of the skills that employers look forward from a new hire is the ability to work with data, to prepare that data, which takes almost 80 to 90% of the time. Even if when you are working here in classes, you will notice that most of the time you spend as a student is working with the data, cleaning the data, making it, preparing it, making it ready for the analysis, for creating a predictive model or classification model. And then last but not least, the objective of this class is also to make sure that you are a good storyteller, because what employers value the most is that
they say we have the best data scientists or data analysts, but what is really important is how to tell the story to non-data analysts, right? And you will get the opportunity to tell the story that you have found from your data analytics, whether it is machine learning predictive model, or it is a visualization using Tableau. So those are the objectives of this program. So let's look at an example of the data analytics life cycle, as an example in the healthcare industry. So it all starts from the bottom up. It starts by combining data from different sources, whether it is internal, like for example here in the electronic health records within the organization, or external, that can be from the insurance companies, from credit companies, and so on. And then integrating these, combining those data sources, different data sources, using the ETL, or which is the extract, transform, and load into a data mart or a data warehouse. Then you will be able to secure that data set or that mart or data warehouse. Then you will be able to run some use analytical tools to run some queries using SQL, for example. And SQL is covered in this program. You will be able actually to learn how to use SQL to retrieve data from data sets, right? From database management systems. You will be able then to run predictive or create and develop predictive models or classification models and visualization. And all of those, the analytical tools are used to solve a problem, which is in the top one, which is the use cases. This business problem can be, for example, detecting fraud or improving a business process, right? Just kind of to name a few. So then in this program, you will learn about several software, just kind of to name a few, not to include all of them. R is emphasized in most of the classes. So you will be very comfortable with R by the time you graduate from this program. Excel also is used in this program, and we have one whole course is called advanced or actually called spreadsheet modeling course, which goes through the in-depth on Excel, because there are so many features in Excel we tend to see but we haven't used before. But this course will introduce you to those functions and those capabilities like pivot tables, power chart, and power pivot, and so on. And then Python is covered in at least 2 courses in this program, so you will be very comfortable with the use of Python for data analytics. SQL Server is used for data warehousing, so you will be exposed to the SQL Server there. And Tableau is also covered in multiple courses, but in one course that is more in-depth, which is the data visualization course. So the program consists of 11 courses that are required in order to graduate from this program. And those 11 courses, out of those 11 courses, 3 are electives. And so far in the program, we have 5 elective courses offering. You can select 3 out of them, and then actually when you get admitted into the program, I will send you an email with a Word document with the degree plan, and they will ask you to fill out your projected degree plan when you plan to take each of those courses, and then we can sit together and kind of help to decide by when. It all depends on you when you want to graduate, and then we will go through that as well. And that was basically all that I really wanted kind of to go with you over. Now I will give it back to James.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So the next few slides are just a little bit more general, specific to UTRGV graduate college application policies. And then again, the financial information, scholarships, assistantships, cost, things like that. So the application process has absolutely been made to be as easy as is humanly possible. Everything is done online. Everything is handled through our self-service center. All documents can be submitted online. It is a fantastically quick and easy process. You'll see the comment here that the GRE GMAT waiver, that has been just recently extended through fall of 2021. So as long as you start the program anytime between now and fall module 2 of 2021, there will not be a GRE or GMAT requirement. So just something to consider, that moving beyond that, that requirement will return. There is no application fee, and then we do utilize rolling admissions as well. So there really aren't a whole lot in terms of hard set deadlines. We do suggest that you try to start the process at least 6 weeks prior to the start of the module that you are looking to start classes in. But that's not to say that we won't keep processing things all the way up until at least a week or two before a module starts. For those of you who might be still interested in spring, we absolutely still have time, even with the holidays. And then for, of course, any module thereafter, we have opened up applications all the way through next fall. In terms of requirements, this program does look for a couple of different things. We as a graduate college look for an earned baccalaureate degree of a 3.0 or better. Usually here I get the question very quickly, what if I don't have a 3.0? Don't worry about it too much. And the reason I say that is we actually look at the last 60 credit hours of your earned college credits in order to evaluate that GPA. You'd be surprised how oftentimes taking out that transition from high school to college and the subsequent GPA struggles that many students experience as a freshman out of the mix, or the common GPA drops that happen in the first 2 years because of major changes. Once you take those out, you'd be surprised how much those GPAs do go up. As an example, I was working with a student over the summer whose GPA went from a 2.7 to a 3.2, 3.3, somewhere in that range, just by calculating for the last 60 credit hours. Something else that I do want to point out is we do take a little bit more of a holistic approach to evaluating transcripts. Letters of recommendation, Dr. Moqbel has asked that a letter of recommendation be required of this program, and that is so that recommender can speak to your ability to perform in this master's program. If you have taken a GRE or GMAT and you would like to share those scores as a supplement to your application, you can certainly do so. We will definitely accept them. They won't count against you, but they can count for you, of course. So I mentioned the self-service center just a moment ago. This is our online portal that we have available to students so that, sorry, I was just reading your question. I'll come back to this one. The self-service center exists so that our students do or can do everything online. Even letters of recommendation can be requested through our self-service center so that you don't have to try to track folks down. You actually provide us with contact information and we'll go ahead and do it. So that is something that we certainly can help you out with through the self-service center. The other benefit to this is it does provide you a kind of a real-time update as to what is going on with your specific application in terms of where it is in the process or what documents you may be missing. So if you know that you are missing, or sorry, you're unaware that your transcript hasn't been evaluated yet, or if your letter of recommendation hasn't been received yet because your recommender hasn't submitted it, you can see all that real time in the self-service center so that we can, again, kind of help you move through the rest of that process. Okay, so in terms of cost of attendance, there is no difference for an accelerated online program between in-state or out-of-state. There's the same course rate. This course is actually the $1,463 or $1,416.60 credit hour dollar amount. So the program is going to be, if you are full-time, right about $2,833 per module. There aren't payment plans for this program, and the reason being is that you actually only pay for the courses that you're taking. So because the modules are every 8 weeks, it's already set up the same way that our traditional payment plans are on campus. The total program cost for this, what was it? I think it's just over 15. I should know this. It's just over $15,000 for the total program cost. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you look at comparable programs within the state of Texas, or even beyond that, and that is sometimes a third, even a quarter of what other institutions are charging for this program, and yet we are maintaining the same level of accreditation and significantly higher, in many cases, rankings than some of those other programs. So financial aid is a little bit different than scholarships, which I will talk about here in just a minute. But financial aid is referring back to the federal aid or state aid that might exist. So FAFSA, TASPA, basically the free application for federal aid. This is something that is not required at the graduate level, but it is something where if you are going to be looking for any subsidized or unsubsidized loans, any grants or any need-based aid, that is something that you will need in order to apply for those or request those. Even though this is an accelerated online program and you can take as a part-time student, you're only taking one class per module, it does still meet the federal requirements for being eligible for FAFSA and financial aid. The gentleman you see pictured on the screen, Jose Sanchez, is our direct representative from financial aid. So if you do have any questions specific to your needs, he is a fantastic resource. The reason I point him out specific to financial aid is where myself or anyone within graduate college can help you out with scholarships or assistantships or any other information. Federal aid and the need-based aid is something that is protected by a number of regulations and laws. And Jose is really one of the few people that can talk about that with you within our department. So speaking on scholarships, there are a number of different options. UTRGV general scholarships is something where there's a large general scholarship application that applies to just over 550 different scholarships spread across the university. Those are our donor scholarships. So donors or foundations have provided resources back to graduate college or to UTRGV for specific scholarships. Some of those are program specific, some of them are a little more broad. I do know that there are quite a few of them that fall under the School of Business banner, but oftentimes there are criteria for those. So you have to be in a specific program, or you have to be part of a specific population, or have a specific undergraduate GPA. But the application for that is one general application, and it puts you in the running for all of those scholarships. Basically anything that you can apply for, you will automatically be applied to. It's a quick application, something that I definitely suggest for all of you. Graduate scholarships, as of actually this morning and about 30 minutes before we started today, we did get confirmation that our graduate dean's scholarship will be starting again for the spring. So what that scholarship is, it is a $1,000 scholarship that is available to our students who are going to be starting in the spring as a full-time student. Beyond that, we do have a GRE or GMAT scholarship. So if you've taken the GRE or GMAT and you are going to be using that for your application, we will actually reimburse you for the cost of that exam. Moving forward again into next year, when that exam does come back as a requirement, at the end of the year, that scholarship will continue at that point as well. Something else I want to point out is continued education or employer benefits. This is something that a lot of businesses don't do a great job of educating their employees on, but many organizations do have continued education or educational reimbursement benefits. An example of this was actually a student who is currently in the business analytics program. I was speaking with them at the beginning of the summer. She works for USAA in San Antonio. She was an entry-level student. She had just graduated from her undergrad and decided that she wanted to get her degree in business analytics. And USAA was actually going to be paying, even as an entry-level employee, a little over $10,000 towards her education by the time the program was done. Now that's an extreme case. It's usually not that high of an amount, but it's something that is available to a lot of folks through the companies that they work for. Another opportunity for funding is assistantships. Even though this is an accelerated online program, we do have a number of assistantship opportunities that are available for students. Graduate assistantships are going to be working within offices, either on campus or remotely. With the advent of COVID, we do have a number of graduate assistantship opportunities on campus that have moved remote. Within graduate college, for example, we have what's called Grad Central. They're a call center specific to us, helping with outreach and then answering calls coming in. Many of those are full-time remote students, so they're able to be anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, and still be available for those opportunities. Research and teaching assistantships are also available. Those are a little bit more specific to on campus. All of those positions that are available can be found on the careers page at careers.utrgv.edu. Don't worry about jotting that down. I will provide this presentation to you at the end of this today so that you do have this to reference back to. But most of those graduate research or teaching assistantships are usually 18 to 20 hours a week, and there's a stipend associated with it per semester, anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000 per semester. So that's something that you can put back towards tuition or housing or books or room and board or whatever it may be for that specific semester or module. So here on this slide is our contact information. Again, I will provide this to all of you, but I do urge you at any point, if you do have questions or concerns, or if there's something that you want to know about the program, either one of us would be happy to help you out with that. Dr. Moqbel, of course, is the program coordinator, and then myself on the other side of graduate. We'd be happy to help you with any questions that you may have. Ultimately, we just want to make sure that you're finding a best fit for your program. But at this point in time, I do want to open things up for questions. If you do have a question, please feel free to type that into the control panel under the questions section. There is a question in here that I will address while folks are potentially typing those questions. But the question, Dr. Moqbel, were you saying something? I apologize.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, no worries. So the question is, what is the difference between the MBA with business analytics emphasis and the MS in business analytics? So our MBA programs have specializations, not concentrations. And a specialization means that it is 9 credit hours of basically specific coursework towards a field, in this case, business analytics. So what that means is that out of that 36 credit hour MBA, 27 credit hours of those are going to be scripted out for you, and then you're going to have essentially 9 hours of elective space, and that elective space would be taken up by business analytics courses. I believe it's 9. Is it 12, Dr. Moqbel?
I'm not sure, but it might be 9 credit hours, 3 classes.
Yeah, I believe it's 9, but that's really what the difference is. It is an MBA, a Master's of Business Administration, with some additional coursework in business analytics, where of course this program is very specific to business analytics. Okay, so the question is, when will the acceptance letters be sent out to candidates? So there are not acceptance letters that are sent out, physical acceptance letters. There is confirmation sent via the email that you provided to us, as well as information that is updated in your GoToWebinar, excuse me, not your GoToWebinar, in the self-service center. So if you actually log into your self-service center, for the student who is curious what their status is, application status is, that will show you where your application sits. Okay, so is this a good program for someone who who will be graduating with their BBA this December? So the answer is yes. This program is, and again, speaking from personal experience, and Dr. Moqbel, feel free to interject if I speak out of turn, but coming from personal experience, this program is one that you don't have to have a super large background in data analytics or business analytics to be successful in. The faculty do a phenomenal job of helping students grow and learn and develop, whether you're a beginner or been doing it for many, many years. So we have folks coming from all over the place, some with business backgrounds. My background was in applied research and sociology. We've got folks coming from all different areas. I think isn't there a biology student in this program too?
Yeah, we have actually biology majors. We have medical doctors, lawyers. So we have all kinds of backgrounds, and they all succeed. As you said, the program was designed for applicants with any background, not limited to computer background or analytics or statistics background, but it's open for all programs, all backgrounds.
Okay. Louisa, to answer your question, I will go ahead and answer to you privately, just because I did go ahead and pull up your status while I've been sitting here. But if there are any other questions, please do feel free to ask them. If something does pop up afterwards, again, you can always let us know or reach out to us afterwards. I recognize that I don't know how many times I've been in a meeting or a webinar and asked, not asked a question, and then it popped into my mind when we got done. But if you do have any other questions, please feel free to type them in. If you don't, thank you so much for joining us today. Definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn about this program. And we're excited to work with you through the rest of the process. Louisa, I am responding. I do not have a business background. I graduated in psychology and French. Do I need to take any prerequisites before applying? That's not, right now, no, but there's no plan on that changing, is there, Dr. Moqbel?
Yes, you're right. There's no plan to change it. So there is no prerequisite before you start the program. And there are some recommendations to start with the Statistical Foundations course if it is available during that semester or that module you start. But all courses, they will get you up to speed. So you don't have to. There are no, to answer your question, no prerequisites.
Okay. So this question is, how many letters of recommendation are needed? It's just one letter of recommendation. And again, that is requested through the self-service center. So for the letter of recommendation, the question is, does it have to be an employer or could it be a professor? I believe professor is preferred if you're a recent graduate or have a good relationship with a prior professor. And if not, essentially anyone who's not immediate friend or family who can speak to your ability to perform well in a graduate program would be perfect. And Louisa, I did just send you some contact information for the admissions specialist specific to your application in the question section. I would just suggest reaching out to her. I don't have the access to dig in far enough to see more than what I shared with you right there. But it looks like there's just that one thing still pending. So, Dr. Moqbel, do you have a list of faculty?
Yes, it should be under the College of Business website.
Okay.
So let me. Yeah, it should be the faculty from the Information Systems Department.
Okay, cool. So let me see if I can get the link in here.
I can get it to you really quick. Let's see. Faculty and staff. There you go. Let me send it to you through the chat.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so there is the link to the faculty. Oops, I just replied to the wrong question. It's okay. Okay. Yeah, and Louis, so we'll get it figured out. I sent a note off to Ms. Palacios as well, just to let her know that you'd be reaching out to her about that requirement. But we'll get that missing whatever that missing requirement is figured out, so we can get you your answer. So there's a question, is this a pilot program? So it is a relatively new program for us, with the first graduating class happening in August of this year?
Last May.
Last May?
Yeah, I mean, not May. You're right, August. So last summer.
So August, if you have specific questions about the experience in the program, or what the experience is, again, I'm currently in the program, I'd be happy to answer those questions. But if you would like alumni contact, I just ask that you reach out to me via email, and I can help you get in touch with some of those individuals. In this program, Python, we're going to be learning how to code. So in this program with Python, are we going to be learning how to code?
So James, have you taken that course?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I've used Python in at least 3 courses, two or three. So yes, you're gonna get your hands into pretty much everything. It's very much a hands-on program. It's not just all theoretical where you're reading a book and not practicing. Like every week you will read through the lesson plan or view the lecture or whatever it may be, and then you practice. So you are getting hands-on with stuff. The other cool thing, and you can actually, there are several points throughout the year or throughout the program or the courses where you can use data that's like real world or something that you specifically work with on a daily basis. So through Python or R, taking some of the data that I have on the administrative side of things for academic enrollment and being able to utilize that was awesome because it allowed me to do some real world analysis and then programming the systems. So to answer your question, yes. Okay, so looks like the questions have slowed and kind of come to a stop. So again, I just do want to thank the last few of you that are still on with us for joining us today. Again, I will be reaching out with some additional contact information for this webinar, including an opportunity for you to view or follow through the links on the slideshow itself. But thank you all very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you through the application process and in the program. Dr. Moqbel, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, James. And can you share the link with me? And if we can also, you think we can post it on our website?
Yeah, no, we can certainly do that.
Perfect, that would be great. So thank you.
Yep, it'll take about an hour to render, but we'll have it then.
Perfect, thank you very much.
All right, yes, sir.
All right. See you, bye.